Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news as Ajax and Barcelona hold Manchester United to ransom. They own all the cards and they want big prices for the players they know Manchester United want to sign. Bit of a boost around Eriksen. We're also looking at a potentially new transfer guru coming in that used to be at Liverpool that Chelsea want in Michael Edwards. Pereira could still be staying in Brazil at Flamengo. We've been rejected by that Derby striker who wants to go to Crystal Palace. Also bits on Rabiot and a few other things. So it's a packed show tonight. Lots to talk about. Apologies I'm a little bit late before we get into everything because I'm a little bit late because I'm hot. I'm really hot. I had to change my top. So I had to go for a thin shirt, which took me back a couple of minutes because I was admiring myself in the mirror. But talking about it being hot, summer is nearly here. The sun is shining, shirts are off, and your balls should be smooth. You heard that right. Your friends at Manscaped are here to make sure your beach balls are as smooth and as tropical sand. In summer, you want to kill some cold beers and barbecues and not kill the vibe, where you can trim the grass to make the yard look bigger and make everything feel a lot cooler down there. You know, no little things popping out. Dive headfirst into summer by joining 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com. The link is in the description and using the code UNITEDSTAND for 20% off plus free worldwide shipping. You can get the 4.0, which is this. It's got a travel lock. It's got a light for a more precise shave. It uses wireless charging for a longer battery life. It's got adjustable lengths as well. And it becomes part of the performance package where you can get the Weed Whacker, which is for your nose and ear trimmer, Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, Performance Boxers Briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. And Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their performance package, which is the travel bag and the Manscaped boxers. As I said, because Manscaped care about everyone that watches this show, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. I'm getting hot just saying this. And I'm glad I have used Manscaped down there because that'll be making me not hotter. Anyway, links in the chat. 20% off plus free worldwide shipping. Fantastic products. You can get yours through the link in the description, or, and I'll put it on the screen for you in a moment, you can scan the code, which is going to magically appear on the screen for you now. Let me see if I can do this. It worked. Here's what I prepared earlier. Bang, there you go. Manscaped. Code on the screen. Give it a go. Give it a go. Right, thanks to Manscaped, 20% off, as I said. Fantastic products. Right, on with the show. So, first thing I want to talk about, I suppose, is, well, there's no suppose about it. The first thing I want to talk about is the Ajax thing, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a few things to talk about tonight, but the first thing I want to talk about is the Ajax thing, because I think that this is coming in from Mike Verwey, who's very good when it comes to Ajax news. And if I'm absolutely honest, this is really about incompetence, I suppose, isn't it? Would you bring Dan James back? No. Why are we talking about that? Welcome to the Members Club, Jake Layton. And at what point do we say, screw this whole respect Ajax thing and just get who we want? Playing nice won't get us anything. I think it's too late, the chosen one. We have sort of been hinting at this for a while, so it's interesting that it's come out from Ajax. But I've got to say, I don't blame them. Ajax are basically saying to United, you're too late, lads. You're too late. We've sold half our team, and now, when you've sorted your De Jong deal out, you think you'll move on to us. Screw you. Like, forget it. Who do you think we are? You've took our manager. You could have took a couple of players, but you've took too long. We've sold half our team. We needed to raise money. We've raised money. We don't want to sell anybody else. Jog on. And United now are in trouble because we've taken too long. And the amazing thing here is that you deserve applause because everybody is now starting to wake up. Journalists, ex-players, the lot, even players at the club are waking up and going, what have Manchester United done with this transfer window? They're talking like you can wait till August to sign players. They've messed up. They've messed up big time because they've done one deal at a time. And they've put everything on De Jong and they've gone everything else can wait. And if you don't understand what that says below, Mike Verwey is very good. It's via European lad as well. He's very good in relation to Ajax. Ajax don't want to sell Antony, Lisandro Martinez and Jurrien Timber, and have put an extremely high price tag on the players, which makes the chance of them leaving extremely small. Antony will now cost between 70 million and 80 million euros. Now, considering we were going to pay 40 million pounds, they've just whacked on 20 or 30 million pounds onto his price because we're late. Not only that, they're now demanding 50 million up to 60 million euros for Timber and Lisandro. They've basically whacked 20 million on all their players because we're late. So explain this to me. explain this to me. We spend 9 weeks working on a deal for De Jong because we don't want to pay what Barcelona want. And we may end up saving 10 or 15 million. We then move on to our other targets and have to pay another 15 to 20 million on each one of the Ajax players. Make it make sense. 9 weeks negotiating a cheaper plea with Barcelona that we might not even get, and then we move on to targets that Ten Hag told the club he wanted in the middle of May, and they've suddenly gone up in price by 50% or 20 or 30%. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. It really doesn't. And we can speculate as fans about what makes sense, but we're talking here about football clubs. That's a brief from Ajax. Ajax have basically said, we don't want to sell anyone, and if you do come knocking on our door, you're going to pay over the odds. Now, I pretty much think respect from Ajax, Ved van der Sar's their CEO, Ten Hag was their manager, United. There's a nice, friendly, respectful relationship there. But fair play to Ajax, they're saying now, screw it. We've got to think about next season. We've got a new manager. We want to win the league. We've sold half our team, and you want to rock in early July and say we want that player and that player when we've started pre-season training. Jog on. And if you're going to do it and you're going to rattle our players to ask for transfer requests, we'll sell them to you, but we'll sell them at big prices. Ajax twerking for every club but United as Madge. But I don't think they are Madge. You know what? Think of it from this point of view. You're Ajax. You have a really good season. You lose your manager. You've then got clubs like Dortmund and Bayern Munich and other clubs getting your players. And you know you've got to sell some of them. And you know United are interested in your players, but they're messing around with De Jong in Barcelona. You can't wait. You sell the players you need to generate the money to buy the players you want. And then you go, right, we're not selling anymore. United haven't come knocking. And then you're ready to start your season and your pre-season and you've got everyone you want. And then United come knocking on the door and say, but we wanted 2 players. No. And if you're going to unsettle them, it's going to cost you a lot of money. I don't get what our transfer strategy is anymore. I still believe we'll buy players. Funnily enough, I still think we'll get Antony, but we're not. We're going to not get them for the prices we wanted to get them for, and I actually just don't understand what we've done with this transfer window now. And it's funny because I was speaking to somebody about an hour ago who's like, quite. They played the game basically, and they were saying, I don't know what United are doing. I don't know what United are doing. It doesn't make any sense. I've played football, I've coached football, it doesn't make any sense. And I was like, you and me both. I really don't understand what the strategy is. We're just, it's massively frustrating. And if we're frustrated, you can imagine how other clubs feel who United are now going to knock on the door and try and buy their players. I mean, imagine if we went for Ruben Neves. I'm sure Wolves would be like, well, we're going on tour, we're going on pre-season. Why have you not come to us 3 weeks ago? Why are you doing a deal at a time? You're Manchester United. And I think actually my biggest fear is, for all this new United from Richard Arnold and Murta and everyone, I think they're probably just not very good at their job. There's no evidence that we're very good at transfers. Matt Judge, I think, has left or is leaving. Murta, is he somebody who negotiates transfers? I don't know what his CV is in relation to that. I don't know who is negotiating our transfers. Is it Darren Fletch? I just don't know. And I think this is the problem. They might be full of hope and happiness and desire, but are they competent? And at the moment, it looks like we are not very competent when it comes to negotiating transfers. We haven't got the De Jong deal done. Ajax are saying you're now going to have to pay a lot more than you thought you were going to pay. It's just becoming, I think like I say, I think the intention is good from United. I just don't think they have the talent. I don't think they have the expertise. And more fool them. More fool them, because there was somebody who did have the expertise and knew exactly what they were doing, and we decided to sack him, and his name was Ralf Rangnick. Because whatever you think about Ralf Rangnick, when it comes to negotiating transfers and getting them done, he was the man who was meant to be doing this summer, and at the moment, it's looking like a big mistake. So infuriating watching this club do business. Thanks for the content, says Justin. Hi Mark, I think we are actually facing the Harry Maguire problem now. Our history with overpaying for players has given power to the selling clubs to dictate terms in the transfers, says Paras. We do have a reputation for overpaying, and we do have a reputation for paying silly wages as well. So it's very difficult to, put the handbrake on with that. You're right. The board's inability to think and breathe at the same time is ruining our chances of a half-decent season next season. It's a joke, says Sam. What's most sickening is the thought of that 11 million being pulled out by those plonkers on Friday. I'm shocked at what they didn't do, says Sean Collins. And unlike De Jong, let's move on. No real targets, but we move on. Let's get real and sign realistic targets, whoever they are, says Ray. But you know what, Ray? I do want to move on from Ajax, but people like Antony and Timber and Lisandro Martinez, they are realistic targets. They're Ajax players. They're not bloody Bayern Munich players or Barcelona players. They play for Ajax in the Eredivisie. They're realistic targets for Manchester United that teams like Man City and Liverpool aren't even looking at. So they're not. It's not like we're trying to get De Jong out of Barcelona. The realistic targets were Antony and Timber, and we didn't do it. We waited. I don't blame Ajax for saying you're too late. But the sad thing is, we could have done this in the middle of May. We could have just gone straight away and gone, let's get Antony and Timber done. And look, answers on a postcard why we didn't. Why didn't we just go and get Antony and Timber done? Why didn't we lock into talks with Ajax in May and say, look, I know they're going on international duty and maybe they want to think about it, but let's lock in the price because, I don't want you going selling other players, etc. Let's get them done. And United just don't seem to have done that. The ineptitude of people running the United knows no bounds. Our transfer window is getting worse every week. Next season, maybe before others start, says Anthony. The funny thing is, Anthony, I still hold out, and it has to be declared as hope here, that I still think that before tomorrow night something will happen because we know what's happening on Friday with the dividends. What are your thoughts on United not wanting to pay a fee for the Watford goalkeeper? Also, are you confident that we're going to do something by Friday, says Salah? Well, I'm as confident as reality allows. I mean, I as bad as the Glazers are, and they are bad, do you genuinely... Well, I know what the answer is, but I genuinely do not think Richard Arnold, John Murtagh, or anyone attached to this club wants the heat of our first spend this summer being dividends to the owners. I don't think anybody wants that attached to United. So if they're going to go ahead with that, they're going to reap the whirlwind, aren't they? Negotiations should take maximum a couple of days. It isn't hard. If a club isn't willing to negotiate like Barca, either pay what they want or walk away. What they're doing, says Sean. And look, it's interesting, isn't it? Richard Arnold had that conversation in the pub last week and it came across really well. But unfortunately, another 5 days has passed and nothing's happened. So suddenly you start thinking about some of those quotes that Richard Arnold made about John Murtagh working from 6 at night till 10 in the morning. 6 in the morning till 10 at night, non-stop on transfers. What is he doing? Has he forgotten his password? Has the internet gone down? Like, what is he doing? Like, because he's clearly not working on transfers all those hours every day. And if he is, you need sacking. Basically, Richard, if he's spending all those hours on transfers and we haven't got any, there's a big bloody hint there. He's either lost his password or he's shit at transfers. So, a bit, you know what? Put me up front for United. I'll never stop running, but I'll be absolutely crap. Effort without talent isn't anything, is it? And we've seen that firsthand on the pitch for United. We may well be seeing it off the pitch. I think there's a lot of effort and desire, but is there any talent and specialism there? By the end of the window, we will still have holes in the team. Either a midfielder or a centre-back won't be addressed, says Matthew. Today's my birthday. Started hopefully United to do something, says Jay. Happy birthday to Jay. And the transfer window doesn't care about waiting on De Jong deal. The more we wait, the more we lose targets, says YUFC. It's not just that either, YUFC. It's not just that we lose targets, it's that the price goes up for our targets as well. Carl Welsh, welcome to members. Oh no, Carl Welsh has just gifted 5 memberships. Legend Carl. The club is a joke, says Grant. No plan, no expertise, jobs for the boys, constant punishment for us, ever holding a glimmer of hope, says Grant. Well, you know what scares me as well? I mean, I don't want to add insult to injury here, but what scares me? Everyone knows we've got no plan, says Chris. No strategy and no clue in football sense. Everything is commercialism and profit, says Chris. Yes, you sort of, Ajax, I mean, look, you sort of hit on what I wanted to talk about there. If you think it's taken 9 weeks to sign De Jong and we've still not done it, why does everybody assume that once we've got De Jong, we're going to go and get Antony, Timber and another player in the couple of weeks after that? You know what's going to happen, and it's not even, I'm not even trying to scare people. When we do get De Jong, we'll then take another 6 weeks to get Antony. Like, you know it's going to happen. We're not just going to walk to Ajax and say, there's the money. We're going to go, but Antony wants to come to us. Why can't you give us a fair price? And Ajax will go, because we've sold half our team and we don't want to sell him. Oh, please give us a fair price. We're not going to give you what you want and we'll wait it out. Fine, you carry on. Ajax come back 2 weeks later. You're still waiting it out? Yeah. Okay, see you in another couple of weeks. And it'll just drag out again. I actually do not have any confidence, and there's no reason for us to have any confidence or trust that when we do get the De Jong deal done, we don't then take another 5 weeks to get Antony or Timber or Martinez. I don't think we're suddenly going to get De Jong done and go quick. Where's the evidence? Somebody was on about this today. Oh, once we've got De Jong out the way, we've got other deals lined up, and I'm sure we have got other deals lined up. But why would you think we're suddenly just going to go De Jong, Timber, Antony, midfielder, left back? Where is the evidence of United doing that? I think it will be De Jong, loads of hype, shirts, 2 weeks of that into the middle of July, and then another 4 weeks we're negotiating on someone else. I don't see the speed. They clearly do not care about speed. Like, they don't. They've been absolutely slagged off by everybody. Everybody is slagging them off, saying, look, it is a worry that United are taking so long, and they're not interested. I'm scared. What if we don't get De Jong? Who are we going to sign in midfield? It's like there is no plan B. We could have signed Lema, Antony in time, says Divish. I agree they are, but De Jong has messed everything up. They are no longer realistic targets, not if the price goes up 20%, says Ray. Look, we shouldn't be spending 50 or 60 million euros on Timber or Lisandro Martinez. They're well overpriced. And we shouldn't be spending 70 or 80 million pounds on 70 or 80 million euros on Antony. It's well overpriced. So we've priced ourselves out into stupid deals again, haven't we? Like, we shouldn't be doing that. Jay's just gifted 5 members on his birthday. Thanks, Jay. Thanks very much for that. If the Young situation becomes untenable to the point of giving up, would you rather find a Sangari and Fabio and Reece? Yes, I would, Vinicius. I would. But that's clearly not what we're going to do. And I think we've gone so deep into this De Jong saga, we've got to follow it through now. Can we not use Bailly plus cash for Timber or Torres because we don't seem to be able to sell him, says Carl. I mean, I actually think Eric Bailly to Ajax would be a good deal, but his wages will be way more than anything Ajax can afford. I mean, I guarantee you Ajax's top wages, Eric Bailly would be one of their top earners there. This is the problem. He's on massive amounts of money. So look, it is a concern. It's a concern in relation to where we're going from here, because that is very fresh what Ajax have said. And basically, well, not what Ajax have said, but what Mike Verwey is saying is that Ajax are basically saying we don't want to sell any players. You're too late. And if you want to buy players, you're going to pay way over the odds, because if we are going to sell players, we want to be able to say, well, at least we ripped Manchester United off for it. So, yeah, it's looking stupid. And Kaylen, I'd hate to sort of expose you, but this Martial to Ajax thing needs to stop. He's on 250 grand a week, mate. We can't send Martial to Ajax or Benfica or Lille or anywhere else people want to do swap deals with, because he's on stupid money and therefore he can't be swapped. If Ten Hag tactics are based around De Jong and we don't get him, things are going to go very worrying. This fresh start isn't feeling so fresh, says Noah. Look, there's plenty of the transfer window left. United can still turn it around, but the anxiety comes from the fact that this manager is being set up to fail. If he doesn't get Antony, who he wanted, and he doesn't get Timber, who he wanted, and he didn't get Darwin Nunez, who he wanted, that's 3 of his major signings that he didn't get. Like, you cannot keep doing this. The same thing happened to Van Gaal. It happened to Moyes. It happened to Mourinho. You cannot have a manager who doesn't get what they want. Lee says it's absolute arrogance from United, end of. And Noah says, we've done that one from Noah. Paulius says, surely Ten Hag is thinking that this is some shambles already. He must have signed thinking things can't be this bad. Do you think he'll be questioning taking on the job already? And so the supposedly leaked video at the pub was indeed a PR stunt, says Mojo. And also, Ten Hag isn't blameless here, says Rice and Peas. Should have the contacts to know Ajax had a limit, and so far he has shown zero knowledge of the European market. You know what, mate? You should always be even-handed, and there's 2 things there from 2 separate people that I would want to home in on. 1, Ten Hag must be fuming, absolutely fuming, because he goes to Manchester United from Ajax. He's built that team at Ajax. He's made those players what they are. He's built that team. He goes to Manchester United early. He goes straight from winning the title with Ajax to Manchester the next day to discuss things with Richard Arnold and John Murta. And he says, I want Timber and I want Antony from Ajax. I also want Nunez and De Jong. Get me Antony and Timber, right? 6 weeks later, Ajax are saying, we're not selling them. And if we do sell them, we want ridiculous money for them. If you're Ten Hag, you must be sat there going, hold on a minute. I told you I wanted these players 6 weeks ago. I manage these players. I know they'll come to this club. What have you done to make them not want to come to this club? And also, what have you done to make the club I made relevant say to me and you, United, they're not for sale, and if you want them, you can pay silly money. How have we soured that relationship in 6 weeks? How have we messed up that? I used to manage it. I had a good relation with it. They were happy for me to come to Manchester United. We could have took those 2 players for fair prices, and now we haven't. What have you done to mess that up? The flip side to that coin is, he is the ex-manager of Ajax. He does know these players and he knows the club. How has he allowed this to slip as well? But somebody somewhere has pissed Ajax off, and you wonder how we've got into that situation. Because I understand Ajax's position. They've sold half their players, they've made their money, and now they're like, well, why should we sell anybody else? I'm worried what happens to Stephen Warsey if the De Jong deal falls through. Could we have a Moyes type transfer window? It could be anybody type window at the moment. Barry says, hi Mark, can you please be more positive about Transferred? Richard Arnold said, if we're positive we can find new owners. Please be positive and don't panic, says Barry. Okay, Barry. Manchester United transfer plan is a big wheel in the spin for what to do next, says America. Frankie de Jong could receive backlash from the fans if he is seen as responsible for the failed window, especially given he doesn't even want to come, says Paul. I'd never even thought of it like that, Paul, but if we have a bad start to the season and a crap transfer window and we get De Jong and he doesn't play well, you need to start on a positive foot. Simon says, same old crap. They tried to get players on the cheap but end up paying full price anyway, and we lose out on players. Yeah, look, I think many people would say if in July we signed 3 players suddenly and we got them for a fair price, you'd probably sit there and go, look at us all moaning in June and May saying, what business are we doing? What business are we doing? We got De Jong for 60 million, we got Antony for 40 million, and we got Timber for 30 million. It's all good deals. Well done. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, is it? Like, if we do get those players, we're going to pay 75, 65 and 50. We're going to overpay. To which the answer is, if we're going to end up overpaying for these players, what have you been doing for 2 months? And that's what most people are sat thinking. They're like, the prices on these players keeps going up. De Jong's price keeps going up. Somebody from Barcelona today said they want 100 million euros. It was 70 million euros a few weeks ago, so it keeps going up. The more money comes into Barcelona, the more they're knocking the price up for De Jong. Ajax are knocking the prices up for Antony. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, these deals should have been walked away from or done weeks ago at a fair price. Why are we waiting around? And every day we wait around, the price seems to go up. It makes sense the later they sign, it means no wages payments for a few weeks. It's a shambles, says Rory. Well, I'd hope that's not the reason, Rory. I truly hope Ten Hag realises how tough a challenge he has. This squad currently, even with De Jong, is not enough. Nowhere near enough, Myron. And it's identical to what happened with Baines and Fellaini under Moyes. New chief executive and manager, same crap. It must be the board, says Carl Walsh. And you know what? Let's be absolutely honest. I can't dismiss somebody who actually makes a fair point. What if that is true? What if United don't want to buy players until the middle of July because Frankie de Jong will be on 350 grand a week, and a month's wages of 350 grand a week is 1.5 million, isn't it? Around 1.5 million saved. Now people say that's ridiculous, and I think it's ridiculous. Imagine putting off signings so that you can save wages. We don't really need Antony and De Jong on the tour. We've got enough players for the tour. They're not even competitive matches. Let's sign them at the end of July, and then we get another month of not paying the wages. That sounds stupid. But so does taking £11 million out of the club on Friday when no other owner does it. So look, nothing would surprise me with the Glazers in relation to saving money. I think they probably have baked beans on a Thursday night so they can have a bubble bath on Friday night. I think they'd do anything to save money. In fact, they probably give the United fan, Ronaldo and that want a jacuzzi on Friday morning, so they have to eat baked beans on a Thursday night. It wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. And the reason I say that is that Ronaldo has complained about the state of the recuperation pool at Carrington. with broken tiles and stuff like that. So, look, there's United. Old Trafford has leaked. Like, don't think United wouldn't try and save a fiver somewhere. At this point, United should get Weghorst, would be better than 80%. Don't talk to me about Weghorst, Lele. If you know, you know. Don't talk to me about Weghorst. Mark, if Ronaldo leaves, you will finish mid-table. We have had the best transfer window by far. You buy a marquee player of the year, and none of these players have been successful, says Zane. Zane, probably with the most relevant chat he's made in about 4 years. That's, I almost stood up and applaud you there, Zane. You're not far wrong. Slaven says, we failed to sign Ajax players messing about with De Jong. Just accept mediocrity from the upcoming season. It will be easier to deal with. We all have the same Deadwood playing, says Slaven. Yeah, but you know what the problem is? And I've got some other stories to go through here. You know what the problem is? We endure a season that we've just had where we've got complete and utter incompetence on the pitch. Most of that team is incompetent. Yeah, you've got the odd glimmer from Ronaldo and De Gea at times, and even Sancho, and maybe even Fred in the second half of the season. But the vast majority of the team are just pure incompetent, right? The season ends, they give you Ten Hag, a glimmer of hope, Ronaldo, whatever. Glimmer of hope with Ten Hag. And then you think, this summer is going to give us some revitalisation and enthusiasm and hope. And then the negotiation team are as incompetent as the players on the pitch last year. And we don't seem to get any respite. And it happens year after year. Crap on the pitch, crap summer. Crap on the pitch, crap summer. And look, there'll be people who don't know, who were saying, well, you can't say it was crap last year. I can and I did. And so did many other people. Ronaldo was a great signing. Sancho was a great signing. And Varane was a great signing. But if you don't buy me an engine, it doesn't matter how good the chassis is, the wheels are. If I haven't got an engine, what am I supposed to do? And the most important signing last summer that most of this community and most United fans outside of this community said, the priority is a midfielder who knows what they're doing, defensive-minded. We never bought it. We never bought it. This transfer window is dwindling away. Prices are going up, so we're going to sign anyone. This is getting very worrying, says Ray. And I'm thinking of cancelling Sky Sports subscription, says Paul O'Brien. Look, we will do business. I don't think I've ever said that we won't do business. We will do business. The question is, and this is the most important thing, if we had gone and got Antony and Timber or Antony and Martinez earlier, we probably would have got Antony for about 45, 50 and Martinez for about 30. So at most, you're spending 80 million quid on those two players. If we buy them now, Ajax wants 60 and 40. So that's 100 million instead of 80 million, which means you've lost 20 million of your budget or more. Maybe they want 70 million and 40 million for those two players. So we've messed up there because we've cost that. With every passing day, we're making it more and more unlikely that we sign 4 or 5 players. More and more unlikely. And with every passing day, the fear that these people who are involved in our transfers, whether it's John Murtagh or Darren Fletcher or whoever else is involved, we know they're obsessed, we know they're trying, and we know they're working hard. But with every passing day, you're thinking, well, is that not what McTominay and Fred did in the midfield? We know they're good guys, we know they work hard, but we also know they got dominated by every other midfield in the Premier League. And unfortunately, it's looking like this team led by Murtagh at the moment is getting dominated by every other club in the transfer market. And unfortunately, it is looking like with every passing day that no matter how hard their desire is and how much they want to succeed, they may not be good enough. Now, they can still turn it around, but with every passing day, it's looking more and more unlikely. It's looking more and more that like they're not very good at what their job is. And I think that they will sign players, but look, we know how it works. United will sign De Jong and there'll be little clips of Murtagh walking in like a boss. But one signing, one sunny day doesn't make a summer. This is meant to be 6 sales and 5 players in. We've sold nobody and we've bought nobody. If we bought De Jong and a centre-back and we loaned Dean Henderson out, that's a shit summer. That's absolutely dreadful. You've got to keep your eyes on the prize, and the eyes on the prize had to be 5 signings and at least 6 sales. And with every passing day, it's looking more and more unlikely. They've got to make things happen. We're already Liverpool area, the way the club's acting, no trophy for another 30 years, says Michelle. What if United signed Sangari, Mark? Also, please shout out to my server, Jim's Paradise, says Clad Chadwick. Let's not forget we finished second 2 seasons ago. This is intentional drag the De Jong deal along and barely assigning any player. Work with what you've got, says YUFC. Why does this club always seem to make penny-wise moves that end up being pound foolish, says Stephen. And again, look, we're going to move on now, but I agree with that as well. I've got no problem with Liverpool or Chelsea or Man City sitting back and waiting for a deal until the middle of July, because there's evidence of competence in relation to transfers. But with Manchester United, we've got lots of evidence of incompetence. And I mean, to be blunt, I know we've not spoken about De Jong much, but when we do sign De Jong, I'm really interested in the fee, because for how long we've spent on that deal, if we end up paying over 70 million, what have we been doing? Hi Mark, it's not just the fact that Man United miss out on key players, their reputation will go ahead of them and no one will want to do business with them, says Alexander. Well, I don't know whether you saw this actually. This lad at I don't know whether I've actually, let me just check. I think I might actually have the tweet to put up on the screen, but this striker at Ajax, forget what his name is, here it is. Malcolm Ebuwe? I can't pronounce it. I can't do it. I tried and I failed. Anyway, this young striker that Man United have been looking at for about a month is set to sign a contract with Crystal Palace. I can't even explain that. Rangnick must be happy he left this mess, says Prince. I can't explain that. Young player. We've been very good at signing young players, and now young players would rather go to Palace than Manchester United. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but you know, if we'd bought him, he wasn't going to go in the first team anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Think what you like about that. I don't have really much to say about it. I do have something to say about this though. Some of you might be interested in this. Enzo Fernandez to Benfica for €18 million. I was talking about him this afternoon. This is a player that Rangnick recommended to Manchester United, as he did with a few other players like Lamar and Adeyemi, who we tried to get, but it was too late. So Enzo Fernandez goes to Benfica for €80 million. Look, I'm not saying he's going to be the next big thing, but I do wish we did some deals like this. In a summer where we need to buy a lot of players, how nice would it be to go and buy a player from River Plate in Argentina who's well scouted for 14 million quid? It would be nice, but it was just worth mentioning that if anyone was still thinking that we might go back in for that, we weren't going to go back in for him because it was a recommendation from from Ralph Rangnick. And then this story is quite interesting. Manchester United and Chelsea are interested in Liverpool's former sporting director Michael Edwards in an attempt to strengthen their recruitment department. I mean, it's worrying however you look at it, because he's ex-Liverpool, so you know it just shows you how desperate we are if we're going for people who attach to Liverpool, which we've already done once this summer, actually, haven't we? We've recruited somebody who's the assistant sporting director anyway, who used to be at Liverpool. It's worrying because it's an acknowledgement that we need to bring somebody in who knows what they're doing. I mean, I don't think we'll get this guy. I presume he'll go to Chelsea, because anybody with a brain would go to Chelsea over United at the moment, especially in recruitment. Chelsea's recruitment has got a much better reputation than ours, but the fact that we're even being linked to people like that is worrying in itself, because what have we just spent half an hour talking about? The perceived incompetence that seems to still reign at United in recruitment, and then we're being linked to somebody else who's good at recruitment. I just don't think we've got people who know what they're doing to the level that you need to do at Manchester United. When the CEO is telling the world money's no object, no wonder the prices are going sky high. Says, but I mean, look, I've never really wanted to talk about that, because I actually do think that Richard Arnold's answers last Saturday it was nice to be communicated, but there was a few people who were furious with him saying the money's there, because the world heard that. The world heard that. Ajax heard that. Barcelona heard that. Everybody heard that. Has that had an impact on United, with people going, well, look, we know you've got loads of money and we want to add another £20 million onto the player that we know you desperately want? The scary thing about United is, if everyone thinks we've got loads of money, and those clubs who players we want know we want them, look, I'll be more blunt. Ajax know Timber and Antony are his number one priorities, and they know that United have got money. Is there any wonder what they're doing? Even with the first dips on Ajax players, with the ex-manager, with a player who's eager to come to United, we still can't get the deal over the line, says Michael. You make a good point, Michael, as well. I've said this many times over the years. United are only capable of doing transfers in a one-horse race. If you think about all our transfers, Bruno was a one-horse race. No one else was in for him. Maguire, no one was out in for him at that price. Wan-Bissaka was no one was in for him at that price. Of course they bloody weren't. Sancho, no one else was in for Sancho. You know, we were chasing Sancho for over a year and no one else ever went in for him, except for us. Pogba at 89 million, no one else went in for him. So United love to stretch out a deal where they're the only horse in the race. And we still take ages. We can't win a race where someone else is in it, as we saw with Darwin Núñez, Erling Haaland. The time he went to Dortmund, we Bellingham. If someone else is in the race, we're shit. So, yeah, it's. Antony's on a plate. He wants to come to United. He's desperate to come to United. Erik ten Hag wants him. They were both together at Ajax 2 months ago, and we've got the money. And yet you still think we'll find a way to mess this up. I'm 80% on Antony because Ten Hag wants him, because he wants to come to us, because we need a player in that position. But United are negotiating. Is this some deranged Man United plan to time waste and try and sign Declan Rice as there's nobody else left, says James. And Madja says, could you do a video about the process of how transfers are made, emails, meetings, phone calls? I cannot for the life of me imagine why it takes this long. Majda, I could do a video on how Liverpool do transfers and how Man City do transfers and how Chelsea do transfers. But if I'm absolutely honest, I don't know what United do on transfers, because to breeze you through it, this is how a transfer works. So I'm Liverpool and I want Darwin Núñez. So I get in contact with Darwin Núñez's representatives and say, would he be interested in a move to Liverpool? They say yes. You then have a discussion about, is anybody else involved? Yeah, there is. Okay, where are we in his desires? Okay, he really wants to come to you. Right, okay. What sort of wages are we looking at? What sort of signing on fee are we looking at? Okay, we get agreements on that. Okay, I'm going to go and speak to Benfica. Benfica, look, the player wants to come to our club. Basically, he will come over anybody else. What fee do you want? And then negotiate the fee. And then when you've done that, official deal. And that's how a transfer works. But with United, we fill 6 or 7 weeks doing something else. I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do. I wish I could last as long as these De Jong negotiations. Absolutely embarrassing. Just get the deal done or move on and find other signings, says Luke Granger. Are you worried that De Jong may well be our only signing, negotiating so long and nothing likely to happen until this is resolved, says Ray. And Pedro, welcome to Members Club. Look, De Jong is a fantastic player. And I think we, at some point when we sign him, we'll have to focus on what a great player he is. But he doesn't want to come to United. On top of everything else, he doesn't want to come to United, does he? At this rate, how many players do you think we will get? I mean, Ruben, I'm really just predicting here. I still think that we will get 3 or 4. Hopefully 4 or 5, but I think we'll get 3 or 4. Because I think Manchester United have to get 3 or 4. Look, we don't have to wait till the end of August. I dread to think what's going to happen on Friday if we don't sign anybody and those dividends happen. I dread to think what's going to happen at the start of the season if we've had a crap transfer window and we have a crap start to the season. I don't think it'll be Ten Hag out or anything like that, but I think the Glazers will be in for a world of pain. Look, people were protesting at the end of last season. I don't think it will stop. Hi, Mark. Sorry to take away from the show, but just curious if you're going for Goldbridge anytime soon. I did one last week, Sean. Cheers for all the laughs and content, mate. Yeah, I did one last week on my channel, and there will be some more, yeah. Would you take back Dan James? Why are people asking me about Dan James? No, I wouldn't take back Dan James. He puts his head down and sprints after the ball. No, he's not a Manchester United player of where we need to go. Would rather watch Love Island than United next season, says Noel Robertson, based on us not getting anyone yet. The transfer window, I'm honestly depressed. A little bit of positivity, though. I mean, I said on this afternoon's show, spoiler alert if nobody's watched it, although it's not really a spoiler alert. James Robson, who's a journalist, put an article out today, and I was talking about it in the afternoon show, saying that he's obviously got good information there, because it's very similar to what we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. Dumfries is the right back we'll probably go for if we do go for one. Antony's desperate to come to the club, and a couple of other things. He also says that Spurs are out the Eriksen race. So remember I did a video a couple of days ago, lunchtime video, and said almost done or whatever with Eriksen. That's because I'd been told, go high on any percentages for Eriksen. So if Spurs are out the race for Eriksen and Ten Hag is obsessed with getting Eriksen, I think we'll get Eriksen. But the scary thing is Eriksen a signing that's going to get you excited? Because it ain't going to get me excited. I really like Eriksen, but as I've said before, centre-back, 2 midfielders, left-footed right winger, left-back, right-back, striker before another attacking midfielder for me. So, given players that left on a free, United likely cannot sell any deadwood as the club's debt is tied to an overvalued squad booked as assets, says Anthony Johnston. Would rather... Yeah, I've done that one. And James Cullen says, isn't Barca that's holding the deal up, waiting to find out what portion of the transfer fee they can use, says James. Yeah, they are. They are. You're absolutely spot on. They are doing that. Barcelona are holding this deal up because of their own financial issues. But have you ever heard of something so stupid in your life? Manchester United's entire rebuild and Manchester United's entire summer transfer window is on hold because of Barcelona financials. Have you ever heard anything as ludicrous as that? Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, their rebuild under a new manager is on hold whilst Barcelona sort their financial issues out. Can you imagine any other club doing that? Can you imagine Chelsea and their transfer window being on hold while they wait to see if Real Madrid want to sell a player? Like, it's so undermining of Manchester United Football Club that we are waiting on Barcelona. Now, I don't mind waiting on De Jong, but I don't get why we're waiting on De Jong. Because we have got other money to spend. And it's going to cost us a lot more to get Antony now than if we'd just gone and got him 2 weeks ago. So, I don't know why our summer's on hold just because of Barcelona. Mark, in your opinion, how alike are we compared to Liverpool in the 90s and noughties? Poor owners, poor recruitment, and living on history, says Luke. I didn't really take a massive amount of notice of Liverpool. I enjoyed and revelled in their failure, but I'd be tempted to say I don't think I've seen any team as shit as United were last year. I thought we were crap. Absolute crap. And the scary thing about United last year is we've got some really good players. It was their downing of the tools and they're not trying. That was it for me. It was the fact that they didn't try that hurt the most. I'm sorry, but is it Del Boy doing contract negotiations for United? Says Alistair. He'd probably do a better job. Probably do a better job, to be honest. On a little bit more positive news, there was an agent or somebody connected to Flamengo in Brazil saying that they're still hopeful of doing a deal for Andreas Pereira. You and me both, mate. You and me both. 5 million quid, you can have him. Yeah, just take him. I don't want to see pre-season Pirlo ever again. So hopefully something can happen with that. As we know, Dean Henderson, Nottingham Forest, no buyout clause, no obligation to buy. Salah Ahmed says, your reaction if pre-season starts with no signings? What can my reaction be, mate? I mean, I feel like we've been there, done that, got the T-shirt on incompetent Manchester United summer transfer windows. Like, it's not a shock or a surprise. It's like the end of last season when we're losing to Palace and we're losing to Brighton. You're like, we didn't even get 60 points. As Manchester United, we didn't get 60 points in a Premier League season. You know, we barely got... I don't think we got half the points you can get. It's crap. But I wasn't surprised by it. Yes, it was the worst ever season I've watched United play, but by the end of it, I wasn't ranting and raving like I was when we lost the penalty shootout with Mr. Pink Boots, because at that time I felt like we were relevant. I feel like you moan and rant more when you play badly, when you feel like you should be doing better. I just feel now that everything United do is not surprising because we're just very incompetent at most things that we do. So would I be surprised if we went on the tour with no signings? I'd be surprised in the sense that I think we will. but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't, because nothing surprises me. I mean, as we said, we've done no business, and yet all our rivals have, and our owners are about to take money out of the club. You couldn't write that level of cheek, but it's going to happen. So nothing will surprise me with how bad this club will be run. I'm living in hope that it will change. We all want change. Just wanted to know how are the other teams owned by Glazers doing, says Baron. Well, Tampa Bay have still got Brady. I mean, look. Any signing would excite me, even if it was a free, says Ray. That's how desperate Ray is. And put the fire out and sign some players, says Ruben. I mean, look, I still hold hope that tomorrow something will happen. Because, I believe tomorrow. I mean, there is going to be a time where I say tomorrow something's going to happen, and it will happen. Because it has to happen. But yeah, look, I think everybody feels the same at the moment, don't they? It's just massively confusing, and the scary thing is, I don't mind exposing when I've said something and it's not come true, because I do enough of it when it does come true. And I did say around end of May that you could see the difference in United transfer policy already, because we're working on multiple deals at once. And the funny thing was, at the end of May, we were working on multiple deals at once. We did speak to Timber's representatives. We were still talking to Barcelona about De Jong. We were inquiring with Eriksen. There was some things going on with a couple of other players. And yet, we are actually still working on one deal at a time. That sounds a little bit contradictory, because people would say, well, how can we be talking to loads of players but still be working on one deal at a time? Because the deal is the word we're talking about. We're not working on transfer negotiations with more than one player. Everything, as has been briefed to the press, we are not doing anything else until we get De Jong done. And United are happy for that to be out there. We're not working on any other deal until we get De Jong done. So effectively, we're still a football club that can only work on one deal at a time, which makes it impossible to have a summer like Chelsea or Man City have had in the past, or even Liverpool, where you go and do loads of business. The only way you can do loads of business is if you are a football club that can work on more than one deal at once. And we clearly still can't do it. Do you remember Rochdale left-back Matheson still a prospect, says Red Devil? I do remember him, yeah. Mark, is there a possibility that Ten Hag will give opportunity to Ahmad if Rashford finds his form again, says Jerin? I don't know. I mean, at this rate, we'll probably be giving chances to Phil Jones. Mark, Man United should sign the Chelsea director Marina as a chief negotiator, because we continue to show the world of incompetent we are at transfers, says Amir. And don't worry, Mark, there's always sunshine after the storm, says Coach. I just wish it'd stop raining. And I really love you, but I can't listen to these sessions with these incompetent people around the club. They suck every bit of life from me. I think from you too as well, says Irfan. But you know what, Irfan? If I didn't do these shows and go through all these topics and interact with you, and I think many other people feel the same, you just spend your time refreshing Twitter, frustrated. At least this is a forum where we know we're live. I'm live here. I'm talking to you wherever you are in the world, and there's a chat and everything like that. At least it's an opportunity to vent and discuss, because all you get from the club is pictures of crap players who let us down last year in the gym, running around or doing weights. I mean, I don't even get that. That's right up there with definition of stupidity. Why would I be interested in players who were shite last year in the gym? Why? The only way they can interest me is by scoring goals or stopping goals next season in a United shirt. I don't care what they do in the gym. I mean, what are you trying to do? Get a sponsorship with Gym World? It's like, I'm not bothered. And what I am bothered about at the moment is United and what we're doing. That's where I am. Anyway, look, I'm not going to go on and on and on. It's hot tonight, and we've had our say. But that Ajax update is concerning, but makes total sense. Ajax are basically saying to United, you're too late. And if you want to buy our players now, you're going to pay way over the asking price. Which begs the question, why have we held up other deals on De Jong to save money on De Jong if we're going to lose it on players that we're going to have to overpay for now? don't make any sense. And I suppose that's the line at the moment. Whatever United are doing, it just doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. Maybe they've got a master plan. Do you think they've got a master plan? I hope they've got a master plan. But at the moment, it doesn't make sense. Can't believe I'm jealous of Arsenal's activity, says Sahil. Well, yeah, Arsenal, Spurs, they're all doing good stuff at the moment. The Great British Sewing Bee is on now. Okay. Don't forget, Manscaped. It's really, really hot. You'll really, really appreciate this summer. It's the Lawnmower 4.0. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. You'll feel a lot cooler as well. You can scan the QR code with your phone through your camera, or you can go through the link in the description. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Thanks everyone for watching. Your balls will thank you. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, because these late night shows where we do something, I don't know whether we're going to get them this year. I hope we do. But if not, I'll see you in the morning. Make sure you subscribe, check out Manscaped, smash a like, and take care, everyone. Take care.